And so the first thing I'd like for you to do is to make sure that you have access to the SketchUp, which is our CAD software or computer-aided drafting or designing software. And it's integrated into our Google Suite for Education. So what you need to do is open up Chrome as your browser and make sure you're logged in to your school Google account. And then go to google.com. And as long as you're logged into your Preston Christian Google account, when you click on the menu grid here, you'll see your normal stuff, Drive, Classroom, Doc Sheets. But then if you click More, it'll expand down and you'll have an option for SketchUp for Schools. And so if you would select that, it should automatically open up, and then it may have you sign into your account, but it should end up looking like this. And it's connected to your school Google account, so when you save models in the software, it'll automatically be connected to that account. All right, and then just a quick introduction to SketchUp. Basically, what you're going to notice is very different than what most software that you've worked with before, is that it's in 3 dimensions. And you can see those are indicated here by the red, green, and blue axes. And that's what, quite honestly, takes a little bit getting used to, but you'll get comfortable with it soon enough. And then we have this guy here. All he is kind of a scale reference, and so I'm going to select him and then hit the delete key to get rid of him. Notice what I'm doing is I'm using a 2-finger drag up and down to zoom in and out, and also notice that it's going to zoom in and around where the cursor is. All right, so let's just talk real basics, and then I'll probably add videos later as to some of the other tools that are most convenient and useful. But the first tool I want you to notice is the draw line. And of course you have freeform, but I'm rarely going to use that. I'm going to use pencil line, and let's just use that to draw a line from the origin. And one of the first things you're going to notice that's hard to get used to in 3 dimensions is like this line right here. Is that pointing towards me? Is it pointing away from me? Is it in the plane of the screen? It's difficult to see. And so one of the things I'm going to suggest to you is that you try and work as much as possible in the planes that are given. And so in this case, I'm going to see how it turns green when I go this direction. That lets me know that I know exactly how far, or excuse me, the direction that I'm drawing the line is in the direction of the green axis. You'll see why that's really important later. But let's say that I'm drawing the footprint of a doghouse, and or better yet, let's do something smaller. So I'm going to zoom in here, and let's say I just want to draw a rectangle or a line that's 8 inches long. You can see in the bottom right hand corner it's telling me the length of the line, and I can get it exactly 8 like that and click. But let's say that I want to work a little faster than that. Well, let's draw a line in the red direction this time. Let's make it 4 inches long. And instead of trying to get it exactly 4, watch what I can do. Once I tell it I want it to go in the red direction, I can just type the number 4 and hit return, and it automatically snaps it to a length of 4 inches. And so now we have the 2 sides of our 4 by 8 rectangle, and I can go in the green direction back to the red axis, and notice how Google's trying to guess what I want to do. It's inferring where I want the next line to go, and that's nice, and that's helpful. So if I click here and then return to the origin and click again, notice that I've now formed a rectangle. And when I form a rectangle, it changed colors, it filled it in. That lets me know that I just drew a face. In other words, all 4 of those lines are in the same plane, and so they can make a solid face. what's really important about that is why we're doing 3D modeling software, and that is this feature right here. It's called push-pull in SketchUp and other programs. It's called Extrude. Basically, it's going to just take any flat surface. It can't be curved, it has to be flat, but if it's a flat surface, if I click on it and start moving up, I can take it into the third dimension. And so I took what I had was a rectangle, and now I'm making it a rectangular solid. And let's say that I want it to be 4 inches high. And so again, I don't have to get it exactly 4. I can type the number 4 and hit return, and it snaps it to 4 inches high. And so this is why, again, we're making a three-dimensional object. And then now I'm going to click this bottom tool called the Orbit tool. And watch what happens as I click and drag. If I click and drag, then I can look at my solid from all different directions. And again, if I two-finger swipe up, I zoom in, two-finger swipe down, I zoom out, and again, it's going to center around where the cursor is. So if I want to zoom in on that back corner, I put my cursor there, and I can swipe up to zoom in and down to zoom out. Again, click and drag will orbit, will move it around, but I can also do quite a bit of moving the object by zooming in and out, just focusing on different areas. All right, so that's the very basics to SketchUp. I do want to show you one more thing. If I go to the camera views, which are right here, then notice I can look at my rectangle from the left side, the top, or the right side, front and back, and these can be really helpful. One other quick thing I want to show you, and that is if I wanted to draw that 4x8 rectangle again, then I could have just done this. Start drawing it, and notice it's blue. That means it's going to be perpendicular to the blue axis, and I wanted it to be 4x8. I can do 4,8 return, and notice it drew a rectangle that, if I use my tape measure here, I can show that it is 4 inches on one side and 8 inches on the other. So that's a little bit faster way of drawing the same thing. And again, because of perspective, those two boxes may not look the same size, but again, if I change views and look at it from all different sides, I can see that they are actually the same size. Alright, and then I could click Save and save that to my Google Drive if I want to continue on it later. Right, so that's just a real basic introduction. The main purpose, though, of this video is just to make sure that you can access these tools and that you do have SketchUp as an option in your Google Suite.